Hey, what is up guys? GuitarRock here. Welcome back to another CounterSide video. Alright, today's video we're going to talk about Maestra Nequitia, or not Maestro but Maestra. I think that's how they have changed it in terms of the translation after KR to English. Now, Zalong Games decided to add her secretly in the patch last week. Alright, but there's no announcement of patch whatsoever. Of course, if you come here, scroll all the way down, you will see that Maestra Nequitia, let me see if I can find it, is right here. Alright, you can see her in the employee list again. They changed it to Maestra as opposed to Maestro. I guess it's like a female term. I'm not too familiar with Maestro, Maestra or whatever, but I'm just going to address her as Maestra Nequitia, so that's the official term given by them. So as you can see, she's going to be the first 7-cost Awaken unit in the game. So pretty excited, pretty hyped. Not sure when she's going to be coming in C server, perhaps this week, perhaps next week. But regardless, since the info is already here, we can talk about her in general. So let's jump into it. Now, first things first, being a 7-cost Awaken unit is something that's like insane. You gotta be able to do a lot of things and justify the cost, right? Because it's like, I'm sure a lot of you guys have used 6 costs and 5 cost Awaken units, but for something to be 7 costs, like would you guys be willing to, for sure she has to be doing something insane, something crazy to be able to justify that cost, or else no one will be pulling for her. So I'm going to be diving into her skills, hopefully try to give you guys a more detailed explanation on what she actually do. But keep in mind, she's an Awaken tower. Despite her being an Awaken tower, she's not actually a tower unit. Tower unit usually stays at where they are. She will constantly move forward to the, not really to the enemy, but to the middle of the map, and then she will always cast debuffs afterwards. So you can see she's an all-around attack, but it doesn't really matter. If you look at the stats, right, this is where it gets really crazy. Notice she has almost 100k HP and 1.2k defense, and that's about it. She has 0 attack, 0 crit, 0 hit, 0 evasion. Now this is going to be something that's really crazy. Her stats don't matter. Alright, it's like a lot of characters out there. If you are building like Awaken Xiaoyun, you're trying to build replace the Queen, those Awaken units are very gear dependent. But Maestra Nequitia, apparently she's not as gear dependent compared to a lot of other Awaken units. So let's dive into her skills. Probably this is going to be the best case scenario of me dissecting and explaining to you guys what she does. Let's talk about the basic skill. Alright, this is very important. We gotta focus on this one first. So when you deploy her near the ship, she moves forward ignoring enemies. So she will always ignore enemies regardless whoever is near your ship. Let's say enemy decide to Kang you or whatever, she will ignore them. Alright, so while she's on the field, she grants all enemies on the battlefield, excluding bosses though, alright? So not including bosses, a stack of Requiem of the Dead every 8 seconds. So each stack will decrease HP by 0.1%. This is in PvE, but in PvP in Gauntlet is 0.4% per second, and this effect stacks up to 10 times. Alright, already kind of complicated as you can see. The stack is every 6 seconds instead. Okay, so let's explain what this skill does. Right here, let's just straight up translate for you guys in a better wording, because I think the wording they use can be a bit difficult to understand. So just look at it this way. Every 6 seconds, you're gonna lose 0.1% HP, 0.4% in Gauntlet, but at max stacks after 10 stacks, so you're gonna lose 1% HP. In PvE, enemy will lose 1% HP. Keep in mind this doesn't affect bosses, and 4% HP loss every 6 seconds. So yeah, every 6 seconds you're gonna lose 4% HP. So this is so far not that impressive. For 7 costs, nothing here yet, right? This is just a basic attack. So notice she doesn't attack you directly. She will always have this aura that does this DOT. This is like a DOT sort of thing to the entire enemy in the entire map. Not including bosses. Again, I want to keep that very strict, very important, not including bosses. Now, let's go on to the passive skill now. This is where it gets slightly more complicated. Certain distance summons additional performer. Each performer adds 3 debuffs. Now, one is attack minus 1.5%, one is damage taken minus, I think it's increase. So it decreases enemies' attack and it increases the damage taken by them. So it amplifies the damage that they take by 1.5%. Also, it decreased their incoming healing by 5% in order to the Requiem of the Dead effect. So keep in mind, in order to the Requiem of the Dead effect. So Requiem of the Dead is the basic skill, right? So they will add this here. Alright, so these additional effects also applies to bosses. And keep in mind, she's immune to damage when HP drops to 50% or lower. Okay, so a couple of things to absorb here. So suddenly now she performs debuffs based upon how many performers are in the map. So she gets about 4 performers every time, right? So at 4 performers, this is the maximum that she will give in terms of debuff. Notice, reduce attack by 6%, damage taken plus 6%, healing reduction minus 20%. So far, pretty cool. Nothing crazy, right? Nothing special. But keep in mind, the wording here is a bit can be a bit confusing. It says it adds this thing in order to the Requiem of the Dead effect. But we all know that the Requiem of the Dead, right? This Requiem of the Dead can stack up to 10 times. That means these things can also stack 10 times, right? It's safe to assume that. So at 10 times maximum stacks, this will be reducing enemies' attack by 60%, increase their damage taken by 60%. Now this is a lot of damage taken. Amplification here is insane. Okay, so as I'm testing right now, as you can see, the maximum damage taken right now, this is at 10 stacks, you can clearly tell, is only 15%. Damage taken increased up to 15%, right? So 1-5. So I thought it's like because you get 4 of these composers, so therefore you times 4 and times 15. But that's not how it works. I think it's just, it will only calculate the stack. So it's just 15 here, 15 here. Oh wait, this one is 50. But notice, I'm going to activate the alt and then you guys can see. If I activate the alt right here, okay, notice one thing. We're going to suddenly increase another additional stacks and it goes up to 45%. Damage taken amplification, it goes up to 45% for the duration of the alt. Now how long does the alt last? About 25 seconds. So keep in mind, 45% during the alt, this is how long the alt is lasting. She's still doing it. She's still doing the alt. I believe it lasts for 25 seconds. The alt is every 20 seconds cooldown, right? Okay, so she stopped the alt. So now she's moving towards again and slowly getting 1 composer at a time. Alright, so you don't get the all 4 composers at once. You slowly get up to 4 composers during the period. So we'll check out the ultimate skill shortly, but let's talk about this passive first. Regarding Maestra Nequitia, she cannot be affected by stun, sleep, confusion, knockback, hit stun, or any decreased attack speed because those won't affect her. Incoming healing is decreased by 50% for her though, so keep that in mind. But one of the best pair with her is Claudia, because you always want to make sure that she's alive. You don't want her to die. 7 cost is like very costly if she dies, in PvP especially. Ally Elysium Philharmonic members, excluding herself, are granted attack plus 5% and crit plus 10%, generate additional note when casting special skill. And this will kind of cool. It goes up to 10% attack and crit plus 20% and also increase their skill haste. Now, Elysium Philharmonic is this group consists of, I think so far it's only Maestra Nequitia and Sheena in C server, and Sheena is not that strong. So I think the idea here is they want to include Maestra Nequitia and Sheena so that they perform the so she's a better sniper overall, right? So she's just replaced by a lot of sniper right now. So that's something to keep in mind. Yeah, but later on they will add more and more characters along the way. But for the time being, it's only these 2. And let's move on to the last one, the ultimate skill. This is where it gets really crazy. Her ultimate skill is 20 seconds. I don't think giving her skill haste will improve this. That's something that I can't try right now, or I can't test. I think it's always fixed at 20 seconds. Because it depends on, even if you get it early, it doesn't make sense, you can't cast it. She can only cast this when she reach the center of the field. Alright, wherever you are in PvP or PvE, she needs to go to the middle. Alright, so which is why you want to give her speed in terms of her substat, if you can. And speed, you can only get it on weapon. You can't get it on armor. I think you can get it on accessory. I'm not 100% sure on that. I need to check again. I'm pretty sure speed is something that's only substat that's only present in a weapon. Right, as you can see, she will add 5 stacks of Requiem of the Dead, increase the effect by 1.4 times. Alright, after casting, teleport near the ship, stops moving forward and granting stacks of Requiem of the Dead while becoming immortal for 25 seconds. So this ultimate skill lasts for 25 seconds. And you can see right here, increase the effect by 3 times instead. As opposed to 1.4 times, now it's 3 times. Seals all enemy skills, nullifies all enemy buffs for 12 seconds. So let's show you. So max stacks with ultimate. So every 6 seconds. So since now it's multiplied, it's like 3 times instead. So instead of 1% HP loss, 4% in Gauntlet, now you lose 3% HP, 12% in Gauntlet. Every 6 seconds you lose 12% of your HP, which is insane. And also seals and remove buff for 12 seconds. But how does that contribute to this one? So this one also multiply by 3. So I'm sure that's how it works. That's why you get this at 45. You get this at 45. And I believe the healing reduction is so this one should be 60%. So it makes sense, just know the numbers that we saw earlier. So you just multiply this by 3. So as you can see, the ability to provide, this is probably the best one for PvE right now. This is a very good PvE skill because amplify the damage that the boss or anyone receives by 45% is a huge plus. But I'm not sure what's the best scenario to place her. Maybe you can place her slightly later so that she don't go out too early. You want to have more characters on the field first to be able to benefit from this, right? So definitely, I think Maestra Nequitia might actually be overall a decent character. Here's the thing, right? Is she a must pull? I don't think so. I think she's strong, but I don't think she's a must pull. I do think that right now Frederick Doma also has pretty decent damage taken as well. Not as high as Maestra Nequitia for sure. Let me see if I can check in terms of the ranger. So Frederick Doma, if you guys are not aware, his special skill right here. So enemies damage taken amplification plus 15% added to the debuff. And notice you can have up to 2 stacks. Right, so I assume this one stacks twice. I'm pretty sure this stacks twice, so 30%. Yeah, I think she's going to be a pretty solid unit for sure. But I don't think, it depends if you like her playstyle or not. She's someone that slowly moves across the map. Just think of her as a Replacer King in a way. So Replacer King has the same concept. When you use Replacer King, you just stay at the back of the map, you try to hit everyone in the map. Same applies for Maestra Nequitia. I think her entire concept is going to rely on this DOT that just spreads and slowly reduce enemies' HP per second in the map. Now in PvE, yes, I think she's going to be solid, and especially right now they did reduce the number of units that you can use in raids, right? So before this was the 24 characters, 24 units, but now reduced to 16. So I can see her slot can be quite precious, especially to be able to give this amount. Invaluable for sure. Right now, she's one of the best debuffer in terms of all the other characters in the game. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it as always. If you haven't already subscribed, give this video a like. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a nice day. Goodbye.